Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Do you want massive momentum, major money, and magnetic millionaire energy in your business and bank account? If you had an expert you trusted lay out a proven strategy for you, step by step, to get you to consistent $20,000 to $50,000 months without burning yourself out, would you do it? And this, my loves, is why I created the brand new, ultra exclusive ProjectME with Tiffany Carter Mastermind Live Experience 2021. Picture 2 days with my crazy ass hanging out at a multi-million-dollar oceanfront beach house, mapping out exactly how you will get to your next big income goal with absolute clarity. There will be VIP beach photo shoots, a sunset abundance cocktail hour, plus other luxuriating surprises. Now, this is strictly by application only, as I will be hand selecting 15 of you who I feel are the perfect fit for this mastermind experience and will get a significant return on investment from attending. For all the details and pricing and to apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com/mastermind. projectmewithtiffany.com/mastermind. The link is also in my bio on Instagram at projectmewithtiffany. And of course, you can DM me with any questions if you aren't 100% sure if this is the right fit for you right now. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and we've got to have some real talk today. You know, there's nothing that is irritating me more right now in the online coaching space, teaching space, leadership, motivational space than people just showing how easy and in flow everything is. And I just, travel all over and I post a few times and all my programs miraculously fill up and I feel light every day. And then on occasion I'll pop in with tears in my eyes saying I've had a bad day and how hard it is. But then, I get right back and bounce right back to abundance and all is fine. It's bullshit. I coach a ton of these people. And those of you who I coach who are listening that are doing that, we've talked about it and I'm not trying to shame you. I understand where it comes from. It comes from ego. It comes from thinking if I show people how hard it is, if I share the actual truth and don't just show the glory days of, starting and growing a business and my life. If I don't just show that, then people aren't going to want to buy from me. It comes from having this own imposter syndrome. The people who are grounded in their own self-confidence, who've been around for years as entrepreneurs, who've failed, who've made mistakes, who've been knocked down, who've come back up again. People like myself, people like my friend Candy Valentino, Tracy O'Malley, Chris Harder. When you've had enough years and you're grounded in that confidence and you aren't your mistakes, you aren't your bad days, you know that that's all part of it, you're not afraid to share that with people. But when you're a little newer, you're green, you've only been in it a few years, there's something that happens where it's like, God, if I show this part, no one will respect me. No one will see me as an authority. No one will trust me or hire me because it's not so sexy showing the real work. It just isn't. And let me tell you, this shit works. A lot of you have bought these people's courses and programs and attended their events and done these things. And I understand it's how our brains work as humans. We want the path of least resistance. We get into the fantasy channel and we fall for this shit. Why do you think the, 30 days to a six pack and lose 5 pounds a week with this brand new system? Why do you think that's not just a multi-billion-dollar business? It's $1 trillion business. My other company that I've had for 14 years, my multi-million-dollar company that focuses in the niche of pharmaceutical, medical, healthcare supplement, skincare lines. You have to be, the reason why I'm so successful in that niche is you have to be very careful on claims you make. That's why it's so strict about the verbiage that you can use, because there's been so many decades of people being misled and misinformed. That's why you'll see on the bottom, there's a disclaimer like, these results aren't typical. In fact, this only happens with 0.05% of our clientele. But no one reads that. Now, I won't work any longer. I have before because, I was hungry and mama needed cash and I didn't know better. But I won't work with any companies, no matter how big, how prestigious they are. I'll turn down clients who are looking for that kind of marketing. I find it so misleading. It's very common. And you know why it's common? I mean, go pick up a magazine and look at print ads, like especially like a fitness or a health magazine. Pay attention when you're watching commercials, even car commercials, right? They'll say, oh, get this Mercedes. You can get it in as low as $200 a month. And then there's this crazy amount of fine print. And it's like, no, you can get it for $200 a month if you put $10,000 down. And if you qualify and your credit score is over 750. So that's what people are doing also online when in the various coaching arenas, in network marketing. This is what's happening in the digital space. And it's happening because humans fall for it. So we have to have our own ownership in it. I've fallen for it too. I remember before I started ProjectME with Tiffany Carter 4 years ago, and I did buy higher ticket courses. I bought 2 that were fantastic, totally worth it. But I also bought some stuff where it was about like my pain point, because I was like, God, I want to get to 10,000 followers. I had this fantasy thinking in my brain that came in from me taking in, absorbing all this stuff in social media and online. I had this fantasy thinking that all the magic ticket was hitting 10,000 followers, and miraculously my podcast would soar. My bank account would soar for this business, because a lot of people were saying that. And saying it with quite a bit of authority and making it look like it works. So I was believing it without really checking the facts. It's like I wanted to believe it because it was my fantasy thinking. And it's like, well, all I've got to do is hit 10,000 followers. It made it sound simple. It made it sound easier. Our brains are so freaking manipulative and cunning and crazy, because think about it. I already have many years of experience as an entrepreneur. I've already coached more than 150,000 people in group settings. I've already done tons and tons of personal development work. I know that nothing is that simple. And it might sound simple, but there's more to it, is what I'm trying to say. I fucking know that. And you know that too. But we kind of fall for it because who doesn't want easy? Who doesn't want the path of least resistance? Who in the hell wants to have to work out a minimum of 5 days a week and, not eat this and eat more of this and cut out alcohol and blah, blah, blah? Who wants to have to make a point of getting better and better at studying copywriting and spending tens of thousands of dollars hiring someone like myself to learn exactly how to structure and package your offers and create content that converts and brand messaging and all those things, when, I can just kind of figure it out on myself, where I can buy this, $297 course and learn Reels and miraculously go from 500 followers to 100,000 in 30 days, just like the girl who's selling it. It's shit. So that's the first thing is stop buying into everything you see. I'm not trying to turn you into like a negative Nelly, but I want you to be like a realistic Rachel instead. Kind of say to yourself when you see someone online, I have someone in my brain, obviously I'm not going to say their name. It is someone who, I guess you could say, runs in some of adjacent circles to mine, I guess we could say, but is someone who's really green. And, I've muted her stuff before. I'm not going to unfollow, and I have compassion. I understand why she's doing it. But wow, is she going after, that it's just so easy and does not share what goes on behind the scenes and what it takes and the dozens and dozens of hours that have gone into per week of creating sales pages, the dozens and dozens of hours that went into learning and trial and error of the art of making a high converting sales page, of structuring an offer, of naming an offer, of creating content that converts. I could go on and on, not sharing any of that. And it makes me mad. You know why? Because the old Tiffany would have signed up for that. And the old Tiffany didn't have money to waste. You know what I mean? I don't have money to waste now. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one wants to waste money, but I really didn't then. And I know a lot of you guys are in that situation. I'm very highly honored and privileged and respect that when you guys invest in any of my things, because, homegirl isn't cheap, right? Yes, you can get in my posse, ProjectME posse weekly group coaching membership for $100 a month. And that's why I have that. So there's a price point that you guys can't say, oh, I can't afford it. I can't get help right now. I can't start my business until I have more money. That's bullshit. And I've made it bullshit because I offer crazy high value free content. You're listening to it now and you can join the posse. But like, you want my direct eyes on your business and you want that customization to where you're going to really go all in with it. Yeah. I'm not cheap, but I'm not cheap because you're also paying for all the mistakes I've made, not just my intellectual property, but my mistakes, my trial and error. It's to shave off that time for you. But I'm very clear. This is why a lot of my stuff is by application only, including my brand new 2-day in-person mastermind. Now, by the time this airs, I don't know if there's going to be any spots left. There might be only just a couple. I know we have a handful now. That's by application only. The reason is I want to make sure that you get the best return on your investment. That you guys, I'm only taking 15 people so that the people who are here all are at a kind of a similar level. Otherwise it's not fair to people who are like just starting. And then you have people who are making 10,000 a month or making 50 a month. It doesn't make sense, so that you guys are all at a similar level, needing to learn the same things, and then we'll be able to collaborate and also jive and have fun and work well together. And so I want to make sure that you're the perfect fit because I respect that money you're putting into it. But one of the things I do, in my applications or even on the podcast or when, you talk to me, is I am not afraid to share with you what the catch is. What the catch is to having, you want what I have or you want a version of it. Maybe you don't care if you're a multimillionaire, right? Not everyone cares. Maybe for you, you want to make 100,000 a year in a side business. Maybe you want to scale it to, multiple 6 figures consistently. Maybe you do want to get to the multiple 7 figures. Whatever that may be, I tell you what the catch is, not to be negative Nelly, but to be realistic Rachel, because I'd rather you know what it's going to take, and then you can make the decision if that's worth it to you. And I will absolutely 100% with confidence show you how to get there. I don't take anyone who I don't feel I can get those results for. If I don't feel I can get those results for you, now you have to show up, obviously. I can't make you show up, so you have to show up. But if I don't feel I can get you those results, that you don't have it, right? That I can sense like you're not willing to really do what it takes. I have a nice way of saying it, but I don't want you to waste your time and your money. And here's the thing, you're not going to always feel like showing up. In fact, I don't feel like showing up 70% of the time. I didn't want to record this damn episode right now. I would have rather been doing my Billy Blanks Tae-Bo workout, which now I'm back into. Who remembers the OG Billy Blanks Tae-Bo? I'm obsessed. He's now like 100 years old. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know how old he is, but he's obviously a lot older than when he started. And now he will do them in his living room with his daughter and his like fourth or fifth wife now. I just adore him. I know, random tangent, but I'm a big fan of him. So if you're like, if truly to get me to work out from home, because you know I'm like a class gym junkie, but I'm not going to wear a mask and go to a gym here. It's not happening. I'll pass out. I'm a sweater. It's not a good look. I'll have acne and I'll pass out. But to get me to work out, first off, I do it for the after, and I have a point here, but I do it for the after. I didn't want to record this podcast. I wouldn't even want to do Tae-Bo. What I would want to do is be sipping my coffee on the giant deck here at this gorgeous multi-million-dollar beach bungalow, listening to the waves, watching the surfers, daydreaming. I can do that shit for hours. I love reading. Like I'm a sucker for a good like local paper. There's like such a great local paper here called the Beach Reporter. I just love a local paper. I find it so charming and so like small town vibe. And that's where I actually find a lot of great like places like restaurants and cafes to try. But I'd rather just be doing that. Like I could do it all day, really. But if I want what I say I want in my personal life, for my body, spiritually, mentally, financially, if I want these things that I say I want, and I know I want them, then I'm going to have to do things whether I fucking feel like it or not. I don't want to be on my 600-pound life. I don't want to wake up and feel like I'm 90 years old with stiff joints from beating the shit out of myself from playing sports and teaching step aerobics back in the day with 4 risers. Yes, I was that person with the quad risers. Thank you. My knees hate me. So if I want to feel my best and have that energy and not feel so crunchy and tight and inflamed, I'm going to have to move my body, and not once a week and not just when I feel like it. I never feel like it. So I make myself do it for the after. If I want to really help millions of you get the money, get the level of wealth where you don't have to depend on any person, place, thing, job, institution, client again for cash, and have that freedom to do what you want and have the things that you want for yourself, your family, your charities. If I really want to do that and make a shit ton of money doing it, because we get to do both, doesn't make me a bad person or a money hungry person because I want both. If I want to do that, then I'm going to have to show up and serve. I'm going to have to show up and serve on the days I don't feel like it. I'm going to have to show up and serve on the days I do feel like it. I'm going to have to show up and serve on the days where I just want to stay in bed all day with the sheets over my head because I have shit going on in my personal life. I have a lot more shit going on than you guys know, and I'm very open about a lot of stuff. Some things aren't appropriate for me to be open about out of respect for the other people involved, or I've not really processed through it yet. But we all have a lot of shit going on. You know, you might go, well, Tiff, you don't get it. I'm getting a divorce. Tiff, you don't get it. I have a kid that has autism. Tiff, you don't get it. I'm dealing with, depression. Tiff, you don't understand. I have a job. I'm being drained here. I'm being drained there. I actually do get it. I might not have your exact set of circumstances, but I do get it. I'm no different. I just have more cash in the bank, and therefore I have more options. And I damn well sure I probably have more freedom than you in the sense of, right? More cash does offer freedom in a lot of ways, not in all ways, because there's other things that come when you have a lot of money. But I get it. There's so many times I don't want to show up. I had my explant surgery December 2nd of 2020. It's not like I didn't practice self-care and self-honoring. I'm not saying here to show up regardless and push through and burn yourself out. I used to operate like that. I don't want that for you. And that's not required, and you don't need to do that for success. I used to think that's what you had to do because that was an inherited belief that I got from my mom. I really thought that. So I did it. That's not necessary. In fact, it'll backfire on you. I'm talking about be self-honoring and show up regardless. What's the self-honoring thing to do for yourself and your dreams and your goals? What's the honoring thing to do for your ideal client? What's honoring is for me to show up for you guys regardless, as promised. You get 2 fresh podcast episodes from me a week. I have never not done that. I've had surgery, so I batched them. I had my sweetie pie fur baby, Molly, who had 13 years, die unexpectedly January 2nd, 2020. And I showed up anyway and recorded episodes. I put out an IGTV every Thursday. I don't even know how long it's been, probably since the beginning of IGTVs. I have never missed one, and I've had all sorts of shit that's occurred. Where I've even had to sometimes go and record one when that was the last thing I wanted to do, when my brain wasn't firing, where I looked puffy and like shit. And I did it anyway because I have committed that to myself. I've committed that to you. And what do you do in real friendship? What do you do in real deep relationships with somebody? When you're loyal and you're of integrity and you give a shit, you show up regardless for that person when they need you. And I know that you guys need me, and not in an egotistical way. You need me to wake you up. You need me to empower you. You need me to help guide you from where you're at to get to where you're going. And I feel so privileged and honored and humbled that I'm one of the people you come to for guidance. And it would be dismissive of that for me to not show up. And some of you are going, well, yeah, Tiffany, you have a bigger audience now. You have tens of thousands of downloads per podcast episode, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that makes sense. If I had that, I would do it. Well, I didn't always have that. I started my podcast before I had any audience or any email list. I did the opposite of 99.9% of people out there. So in 5 months, I only had 5,000 downloads. So I did the opposite. But you have to show up as though you know they're listening. I started for example, Instagram, my Pinterest. I started it with 3 people. I have one living relative. I don't have the advantage that a lot of you have, where maybe you have a ton of friends or you have a lot of family that you can get them to kind of pump up your account a little bit. Didn't have any of that. Didn't join a mastermind. Didn't know anyone in the online space. Not one drop at all. Nobody. Nothing. Was never in network marketing. Didn't parlay that. But what I did and why I grew, why people say, oh God, you grew so fast, right? Yeah, you want to know what fast is? It's like they thought I grew so fast because it's like I came out of nowhere. I didn't come out of nowhere. I showed up every damn day, regardless of the one person listening, even the 0 people listening, getting no comments on my stuff, getting 3 likes, getting 2 people watching my Instagram stories, not sure if anyone was seeing or hearing my stuff. I kept showing up. I kept tweaking my stuff. I kept learning more and more about my ideal client. I kept studying. I kept finessing. I kept on going. So would you be friends with somebody? Would you trust someone? Would you respect them? Would you like them if they only showed up when they felt like it? Would that be someone you would want to be married to? Would that be someone you would want as your ride or die? I don't think so. If you owned a company, would you want an employee who only showed up when they felt like it, or when they had a lot of shit going on in their lives, they just kept calling in sick? Not to say it's not okay to take a day, or if you have to somehow, for whatever reason, take a week. I'm not saying that's not okay. But some of you have lost your damn minds, where you're just showing up when I'm not motivated, so I'll do it tomorrow, or I'm not feeling it, or I have all this shit going on in my life and I don't even have a minute to breathe today. Well, then it's just not that important to you, is it? And nor is your ideal client. Would you show up for your best friend and it's your busiest day, you slept like shit, it's your worst day, and your best friend found out, finally said, I have to quit my job because it's so abusive here and I feel so stuck and I don't know what to do. I need to talk. I need to hear your voice. Would you have her call you, or would you say, you know what? I just can't today. I'm too fucking busy. I have too much going on. I didn't sleep, blah, 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 blah. What would you do? I know if you're listening to this show, you would without a doubt talk. You might not be able to stay on for an hour, right? But you would be there. You're not being there for your people. So how you show up online for your business when all you want to do is hide from the world is you stop making it about you and you think about that ideal client. That's why I preach and teach that the magic, the secret sauce here is knowing your ideal client as well as you know your best friend and caring about them as such. You guys feel that care and conviction and that passion I have for you, whether it's through this podcast, through my posts, through my videos, because it's fucking real. It's genuine. And you deserve the best, and I'm going to deliver you the best that I've got at any given day. And that's the other thing I want you to know. Not every day, your best is going to look different at every day. Sometimes your coffee just hits and you're like, and you've slept and the stars align and you're a superwoman or Superman that day. And other days you don't sleep, you're cranky as hell, your house is a mess, you just aren't feeling it. Maybe you launched something and no one really signed up and you're like, why the hell am I doing this? And you're in comparisonitis land and all sorts of shit is going on and you're in that day. Well, maybe your ideal clients are also having a bad day. So I want you to look at showing up as being of service. When we get into service, we get out of self. Because we all self-loathe and self-pity. You want to get out of your own shit? Go be of service. Use your content as service. Use showing up as being of service and focusing on how you can serve those people as the best you can on that day. And that might be a 5% version of you. And that's okay. And I don't want you to fake it. A lot of you think you have to fake it because you see all these people online only showing the best. Don't fake it. I'm not faking it with you right now. I told you I didn't feel like being here. But you want to know what? After being in this and recording, I actually feel more alive and more empowered and energized because I showed up and poured into you. So I'm glad I did it. Just like my workouts, right? I don't want to do it even 10 minutes in. I'm like, oh, fuck, this sucks. When is it going to be over? But when when I'm usually at the midway point or a little past the midway point of a workout, I'm like, oh God, it's kicked in. I'm feeling better. This was worth it. Show up, be of service, and you don't need to be fake. Say it. You don't have to give all the details of your life. But notice what I made the topic today. Entrepreneur life, how to show up online for your business when all you want to do is hide from the world. That was inspired from myself. It was also inspired because I hear it from a lot of you. But that was an easy topic for me to talk about today because all I do is want to kind of hide today and just chill and do nothing. So I can speak to that very easily because I'm in that energy. Would I have really wanted to record an episode today that was really super heady where I'm teaching you, I don't know, how to sell out your programs or, something like that? No, I would have saved that recording for another day if that was possible. But you know what? If I had to record it because that was what's in the production lineup, or I had a launch, or, there's some reason I had to record that topic, I would ask myself, what's a way I can present this that is genuine and truthful to how I'm feeling today? One of the best things you can do is just own it and say it. I've been feeling really vulnerable lately. I've been feeling really raw lately and exposed lately. I don't know who else is feeling that way. And it's kind of making me, not want to show up as often. And I've really, I've really been exploring some things with myself. Maybe you're just exhausted. And maybe you fucking teach about having energy, or you're a wellness coach. You're like, I can't show up exhausted. I'm the one who teaches people how to get energy, or I'm a shit show and I'm a mindset coach. Use that. Say, I didn't even want to come on video today because I'm putting this pressure on myself as being that I'm a mindset coach or a confidence coach, and I'm not feeling confident. But there's a lesson in this. Here's the thing. You're not going to always feel confident every day. That's not realistic. But one of the things that breeds confidence is showing up regardless and being okay that you're not going to be at your best every day. And that's okay. And you still deserve to make great money and get great clients and get great engagement and have the things you want, whether you're at your best or you're at your worst. Use it. Because if you feel like you have to fake it or put on some kind of a mask or a show, that's going to feel really damn heavy. I lived most of my life like that. That's also why I wanted to exit this earth, because my entire life was doing that and I refused to do it anymore. And plus people can sense that in energy. They can feel it. They might not be able to put their finger on it, but they're just not going to be magnetized to you. They're going to be repelled. Take that pressure off yourself and show up just as you are and trust that you're in that mood, you're in that moment, you're in that season, you're in that feeling for a greater divine purpose. Maybe people need to hear what you have to say out of that energy versus the energy where you have rainbows coming out of your ass and you're highly caffeinated on your damn pumpkin spice latte. Want to remind you, we're coming close to an end of September, and for my entire birthday month, remember, I am giving you $10 to get your drink of choice as a way of me saying thank you so much for being a great listener of the show. All you've got to do is leave a 5-star written Apple Podcast review. I'd prefer if you take a screenshot of it and then DM me on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany, and I will give you your $10 gift card to your place of choice. That's all you've got to do. If you forget to take the screenshot, it's okay, but make sure your name or your Instagram handle's in your review so we can verify. It's a hell of a lot easier if you take a screenshot for me, but this ends September. So you want to show your appreciation, your gratitude for the show, kind of a virtual birthday gift to me, and in turn, treat yourself to some amazing coffee, or if you want to use it on, some crazy ass overpriced celery juice, I'm fine with that. Anything but pumpkin spice latte. If it brings you that much joy, I can even allow it. It just really is hard for me, but I can allow it. All right. I love you guys so much. Go check out the mastermind. The link is in my bio. You can also swipe up. The link is in the show notes. It's projectmewithtiffany.com/mastermind. I don't know if I'll ever do one again, when I'll do one again. So don't be telling yourself, oh, when she has her next one, I'll do it. Then I'll have more money, or I'll have more time, or I'll have more whatever. The whole point of coming to this 2-day experience is so I can show you how to do the damn thing so you can get the damn money and stop using hope and guessing as your strategy and trial and error, because that's going to delay you from getting the very thing that I know you guys want. All right, wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you guys. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.